So I'd like to speak today about our words as women. Women are often accused of being sharp-tongued. Some men who are physically abusive towards their wives have blamed it on the way their wives have spoken to them or the way they were addressed. Some men have complained about feeling disrespected the way their wives have spoken to them. We've had moms who just speak words in a certain way to their children or to their domestic staff and things like that. And so it's very common for people to say many women don't speak well. So I'd like to speak about what I'm calling speaking with grace. And by grace here, I'm not referring to biblical grace, the definition of grace as biblical grace. I'm referring to grace as a dictionary word. And as a dictionary word, grace means elegance, courteousness, goodwill, pleasantness, politeness, that kind of thing. And so I'm talking about speaking with that kind of spirit, speaking with politeness, courteousness, elegance, goodwill, and things like that. So the thing is this. I know that many times there are extremes. There are some men who are just controlling. And even if it were Jesus speaking to them, they will still get offended if he was female. So I agree that some people are just extremists. They're just looking for what to blame their erratic or lack of self-control on. True. But I also know that women tend to be more verbally communicative than men, and in doing so, there's a tendency sometimes to let our words get the better of us. I'm not saying this to blame women or to say it's only women who speak wrong, but I'm speaking to an audience of women. That's my expectation. I'm speaking to us as women. And so while this message might be generalized for everybody, I'm speaking to you who is watching this as a woman, and I'm saying I want you to make every effort on your part to let your words be gracious or be graceful. And I'm going to be explaining a bit about that. So like I said, I know there are men who are extremists. Some men even believe that a woman shouldn't talk back at me. They expect their wives or the women around them to be like children. Don't talk back at me, don't speak back, don't speak when I speak, and things like that. That's an extreme, and I'm not addressing that kind of situation. All I'm saying is that as women, we have to make every effort on our part to understand that our words are very impactful and very powerful, and we have to learn how to speak well. And I'm not talking about public speaking. I'm not talking about speaking eloquently. I'm just talking about the way we use our words, being gracious in our speech, being polite, being courteous in our speech, having seasoned speech. That's what the Bible calls it. It calls it seasoned speech. Having our speech seasoned with salt, speech that gives life to people around them, that doesn't tear people down. So the first thing I'm going to say is that we need to do away with insultive language, sarcastic words, nuanced speech. We have to learn to speak words that are uplifting. Don't be used to insults. There are some times I hear people speak and I'm just like, my body just cringes. How do people just use such words flippantly? Even in jokes, we can hurt people with the words we use in jokes. So avoid using sarcastic words. You know, I went somewhere on Mother's Day on Sunday, and there was a drama that they acted, and a lot of children were coming out to say, when you ask your African mom where you should put her bag, and she say, put it on my head. There's a vibe it gives off when we use sarcastic language, when our words are nuanced, when we are used to speaking with sarcasm and insults. I'm more of a Yoruba lady, and I will just hear people use words like "ode," just bad language, insults, just use them flippantly. And yeah, they're joking or they don't really mean it, but these words tend to hit deep and sit with the hearer. So learn to temper your language. Cut out insultive words. Cut out nuanced speech where you're saying one thing but meaning another thing. Cut out sarcasm, things like that. Learn to speak straight. Learn to speak nicely to people without insults, without being nuanced, and without being sarcastic. It brings me to my second point. Mean what you say and say what you mean. There's this common idea that, women say what they don't necessarily mean. Women like to play games. Be the kind of person that when I say yes, it means yes. When I say no, it means no. Don't use your words to play games. Speak straight. If you like something, say you like it. If you don't like it, say you don't like it. People are not mind readers. People around you don't read minds. A few people may be able to do that, but most people cannot read your mind. So they won't understand that what you're saying is different from what you're thinking. You're like, yeah, even if I said so, shouldn't you know that I was upset? If you're upset, communicate it. Say, I don't like what you have done. Don't say, yeah, it's fine. But inside you know you don't like what has been done. It's a bit of nuanced speech, but I'm separating it because nuanced speech can just be said like in passing. It's a way that we learn to speak. When I'm referring to nuanced speech, it's a way that people have learned to speak. Like we always speak in opposites. There are people like that who speak in opposites, kind of, meaning one thing, saying. But in this case, what I'm saying is you are hurt or you are feeling something, you're not saying it. You're saying something else just for the moment. And you expect that the people around you are picking up what your intention is. You can't do that. Nobody can judge your intentions, just like you can't judge others' intentions. And what they can judge is what you say, what you actually communicate. So communicate what you mean. Say what you mean what you say. And that brings me to my third point. Communication is not just verbal. We know that. If somebody asks me, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. My tone of voice, my look, my attitude is not corresponding to what I'm saying. And so you're sending conflicting messages to the person hearing. And you're creating a lot of discomfort. Women are known to do this a lot. Let your non-verbal communication match your verbal communication. Don't say one thing with your words and infer another thing with your attitude. Don't pass across conflicting messages. Be the kind of person that you make yourself heard. You make yourself clear to the people around you. Pass clear messages. Let them hear the precise message that you're trying to pass across. Don't communicate one thing with your eyes and communicate another thing with your words. There's this typical joke about Nigerian mothers when they take their children out and somebody's offering them food and they're saying, oh yeah, eat it now, eat it. And that child is now wondering, should I not? You're confusing the child unnecessarily. You can give them a sign, you can let them know ahead what you want them to do. But don't pass conflicting messages across that ends up putting them in a state of fear or uncertainty. It ends up passing us across as being insincere. And children pick up these things from us. We're teaching them insincerity, basically. They're smiling at people on the outside. On the inside, what we want is something else. And we are really confusing children, honestly. You can let them know ahead. This is what I want you to do. When you are offered food, don't take it. Or let me answer. Whatever I say, you do. You can communicate that with your child. Let people around you learn to understand that you mean what you say what you mean. You don't pass conflicting messages. The next thing I'm going to say is that as women, we need to be intentional and purposeful about speaking words that give life. We are life givers. Speaking words that build people up, that inspire people, that motivate them to be better, that build them up. There are different ways we can communicate, and I'm not going to go into a whole talk about communication, maybe some other time. But in this video, I just want to get us to start thinking about our speech. How do you speak? What do your words pass across? Be intentional, be purposeful about speaking in a way that builds people up, not tears at their inside, pulls them down, destroys their self-esteem. And sometimes it's not even about insulting them. It's just about hitting at the thing that is at the core of them and deliberately picking at that thing until they don't feel good about it. Learn to speak words that build people up, all the people around you. Be known as that kind of person that builds people with their words, that motivates, that inspires, that uplifts. I want us to understand that the way we speak is largely an attitude. It's something that you carry within you. And that's why if you're going to change the way you speak, it's something that has to start from within you. It's a mindset, it's a consciousness that you need to change. Because you can't speak one way in a certain place and speak another way in a certain place. If you're a sarcastic person, you're most likely to use sarcasm generally when you speak to anybody at work, to your children, to your staff, to your spouse, to your friends. You'll just find out that sarcasm is a part of you. Insultive words are a part of you. Even if you don't do it overtly, you will do it kind of covertly. You'll find out that it's an attitude. Your speech is part of your attitude. So if you're going to start speaking with grace, you're going to have to think consciously about it and think about your attitude to words. Don't let your words be flippant. Don't speak flippantly. Words are heavy. There used to be that poem they used to tell us when we were young. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. It's not really true. I understand where the poem is coming from. Like, if somebody says words to you, don't take them to heart if you don't like the words. Tell yourself the opposite. But the truth is that it takes a lot more to deal with bad words than to deal with physical pain. When pain is inflicted physically, it will go eventually. When it goes, it goes. But when words are inflicted, they sink into your mind. And when they are repeated often enough, you have a lot of work to do to break down those words, to push back against those words. They settle there for years. People are products of the words that they hear. I remember certain words that were spoken to me as a child, and I know what I've had to do to work against them or to build myself up over them. Words can be life-changing. You'll just look at somebody and wonder, why is this beautiful human being so full of low self-esteem or something? It's the words that have been spoken to them. And as women, one of the things I've noted a lot of times is that we are people of influence. We infuse the environment around us. In a home, if the mother is pleasant and cheerful, she's more likely to infuse her home with that vibe, that pleasant, cheerful vibe coming from her. But if the mother is unhappy or bitter, she's going to infuse that vibe into her environment more than even the man in that home. It's our nature. We infuse the environment where we are. Be careful with your words. That nanny or that domestic staff in your home, careful how you speak. Don't be the reason that somebody will remember, oh my God, words were spoken to me that tore me down. Be the one who people will remember for building them up with their words. That person, when you are around that person, you feel good. They speak well. Words are some of the most important legacies that we leave behind. If you tell people around you that they can't, they won't. If you tell them that they can, they will. If you insult them constantly, you will create an environment of bitterness and of low productivity. If you speak to them, even when you are telling people off, you can tell them from the positive mindset. Here's one thing. The mind doesn't really understand negativity. We deal with what we hear. So let me explain. If I tell you, don't think about an elephant, the next thing that comes to your mind is an elephant. I can bet you just thought about an elephant. So if I tell you, don't speak negative words, what's going to come into your head is negative words, and you're most likely to concentrate on negative words. So you react to the negative words. It's when you hear negative words that you realize that, oh, don't speak negative words. But if I say speak positive words, you're more likely to concentrate on positivity and bringing out positive words. If I say don't speak negative words, I haven't told you what you should do. I've only said don't speak negative words. So it doesn't mean you're going to speak positive. But if I say speak positive words, you're more likely to concentrate on positive words. So if I say don't be an idiot, I have called you an idiot. But if I say be wise, be wise, I have told you what I want you to be. What I'm saying is I can tell you the same thing from the negative angle or from the positive angle. Be intentional about speaking from the angle of positivity. You want to tell off your child, don't say you are lazy. Tell them, I want you to be hardworking. Be hardworking. Don't box people in with your words. Don't tell them don't be lazy, because what you've just said is you characterized them as lazy. But if I say be hardworking, I haven't said you're lazy. I haven't said you're dirty. I haven't said anything. All I've said is this is what I want you to aspire to. Lose the negative lingo. Speak positivity. Speak from the positive angle. Let your words be graceful. Let your words be pleasant. Let it be that when people are around you, they know that I will be built up, not torn down. I just thought I should share that with you today, because as a woman, you are a life giver. That's who you are. That's who God has made you. Maybe we'll talk about that in our next video, but I just want to talk about words today. Be intentional about building and inspiring and motivating others with your words. Build people up, don't tear down. Did you learn something from this video? Share with me in the comments section. Don't forget to take a moment to like this video, to share it with somebody who will find it useful, and definitely subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Fagbeja, and I am passionate about ensuring that every woman lives her best life as God intended it to be, no matter where she is coming from, no matter what her history is, no matter what life has brought her. You can thrive, and that is my goal. We have a vibrant community of women called the Valiant Women's Network, where we coach women, we have an opportunity to share with one another, and we just carry out fun activities to help one another thrive. If you'd like to be a part of that community, take a moment to click the link in the description box and join. Till I come your way again next time. Ciao.